If you're a woman over 40 and no matter what you do, the belly fat just won't come off, this video might completely change the way you think about weight loss. Because here's the truth. It's not that your metabolism's broken. It's not because your hormones are working against you. And it's definitely not because you're too old. There are actually 4 reasons this happens. And today I'm going to show you exactly what they are and what it is you need to do to ultimately solve this problem as if you were starting over today. My name is Adam Trevino. I own Balance Fitness and Performance, and I specialize in helping women over the age of 40 years old focus on developing habits to help them overcome this particular issue. And I've worked with thousands of women. And here are my before and afters I can share here to kind of give you a perspective of what the body types look like, how old the women were, and what they were ultimately able to accomplish. Because I've seen it before. They make these exact same mistakes, especially prior to them joining my program. The good news, this is all fixable. Point number 1, a lot of women actually don't move as much as they think they should, especially for those who spend a majority of their time tied into meetings, tied into doing things all day. And before you know it, you've been sitting at your desk, sitting in your chair, not moving whatsoever. You're ignoring the Apple Watch notifications telling you to stand. Before you know it, you're at your desk for 8, 9, 10 hours throughout the day without any movement at all. So you look at your watch at the end of the day, perhaps you're averaging maybe 3,000 or 4,000 steps for the day. And this is a really big challenge, especially for women who think that they don't need to necessarily move, but they spend hours upon hours working out intensely in the gym. So instead of spending a majority of your time thinking that you need to spend intense hours, intense time, intense effort actually going through a cardio class or a cross-training class or a spin class or even Pilates, it's actually best to start with getting around 8,000 to 10,000 steps per day. So this is a very low intensity activity that actually requires very low effort. Granted, there is some time involved. However, it specializes in helping women actually lose the body fat because it recruits a lower form of energy from your body. And that lower form of energy is body fat. Now, granted, we need to make sure that you're actually staying in a calorie deficit, which we'll get into a second. But overall, this low intensity cardio is extremely beneficial, especially for women in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond. So what I typically recommend, especially if you have the ability to do so, get a standing desk, invest in one, invest in a walking pad, spend some time actually walking at your desk while you're taking some meetings or doing some work. If you got the ability to actually take some time, set reminders or notifications on your phone while you're in the office. Go for a walk around the neighborhood that your actual office is in, or perhaps walk around your apartment, go up and down the stairs, spend some time actually taking a break from the work that you're doing. This can be broken up into short bursts or short time periods where you can actually get your steps in, and they add up to about 8,000 to 10,000 steps per day. The second problem that we start to look at is the amount of protein that women in their 40s, 50s, and 60s actually consume. Let's actually reverse the time a bit. We think about our 20s. We even think about our 30s. A lot of the concepts that we actually listened to was just eat less, move more, and you'll be able to see changes happen. And granted, that actually worked. Perhaps you were able to see the changes that your body was actually able to accomplish, but nowadays it's a lot different. Your metabolism has slowed down, hormonal changes have happened, you have noticed cortisol actually increase, you're not getting as much sleep at night, your stress levels have just generally increased across the board because you got to take your kids to extracurriculars, you got to focus on your professional work, you got to run a household. And so all of these methods that used to work don't necessarily work now. And one of those big things is consuming enough protein per day. So what we typically recommend is actually eating around 140 grams minimum of protein per day. But the ultimate goal that you want to aim for is 1 gram of protein per pound of goal body weight. Less muscle means fewer calories burned on the back end because whenever you go through a workout, it does not recruit a lot of that protein it needs to recover your muscles. And that activity on its own allows you to burn calories on the back end. This is extremely beneficial. And a lot of ladies that I talk to, they think that eating 60 grams or maybe 80 grams is enough, and it's just not. Now, when we increase that to 120 to 140 to 150 grams per day, this is a lot more beneficial. Why? They stay full longer, they preserve muscle mass, they feel stronger, they get stronger in the gym, and their fat loss becomes dramatically easier because the more muscle you have, the more food freedom you have, the more you actually burn on the back end because your metabolism is actually sped up. And so this is a really excellent segue into what I actually want to get into next. So the third point is just making sure you're consuming enough carbs. So let me give you an example. My client, Sarah, she was trying to actually implement some changes on her own. She's tried implementing hours of cardio each day, cutting out her carbs. She tried to maybe focus on a couple of protein things that she could consume, like snacks and meals, but overall she was falling short. Why? Because whenever she was doing her exercises, the cardio was just burning way too many calories on the front end, but not on the back end. When it comes to weightlifting, you're actually able to burn more calories on the back end because your muscles are actually physically recovering. They're broken down. So not only is it a process breaking down the protein you're consuming in that very moment, but on the back end, whenever your muscles are recovering and rebuilding, that burns calories too. And guess what? The more protein we consume, the better your body becomes at efficiently doing that. So we started to increase protein with her first and foremost. The second thing is we actually wanted to increase her carb intake. Her calories were sitting only around 800 calories per day. So her metabolism shut down. So we increased her carb intake to around 150 grams per day, similar to her protein intake. And this allowed her to actually fuel her body. So this gave her energy. This gave her the ability to actually feel good. It gave her the ability to show up to her workouts with plenty of energy. It not only helped her improve those aspects, but actually helped her to have more energy in the workday, focus on actually taking care of tasks and getting better sleep at night too. And it all started off by making sure we're reverse dieting with increasing carb intake, more calories, and then we had some room to actually move into a slight calorie deficit. So we increased to around 2,000 to 2,200 calories per day. And as her body adapted to those extra calories, her metabolism sped up. We reduced the calories a little bit to around 1,600 to 1,800 per day. And then she just coasted at that amount. And she's been able to drop nearly 40 pounds within the time that she's been working with me. So she started in November of 2025. It is now July of 2026. So between that period of time, this is her before and this is her after. She's been able to accomplish a whole lot simply from changing her nutritional intake and focusing on strength training exercises, which leads me to point number 4, making sure you have a repeatable system. So we know that lifting weights is really important, but the problem is that life challenges get in the way. You want to go on vacation. You want to spend time going out with family on the weekends, eating with your husband or eating with your kids. You want to make sure that whenever a holiday rolls around, you're eating some of the foods that are involved with that. Or perhaps there's just a chaotic period of time. Something pops up and so you find yourself, okay, I'll start after vacation. Oh, I'll start after the weekend ends. I'll start after Monday, I'll start fresh the new month. All of these different things start to add up. And so the main issue is that we just don't have a repeatable system we can actually perform when it comes to the weightlifting, when it comes to eating the foods we know that we should. So what do we actually focus on to solve that problem? Boring, simple meals that are repeatable, that don't require you to think a whole lot. So I'm gonna provide you a couple of examples. Number 1, we think about our breakfast options. Overnight oats, having a couple of eggs with turkey bacon, a Greek yogurt and a protein shake. That's it, 3 to 4 options per day. For lunch, we think about having a protein. You can think about whitefish, chicken breast, sirloin steak with your carb. Let's say half a cup of rice to a full cup of rice, a half a cup of potatoes to a full cup of potatoes. And this can be either white potatoes or sweet potatoes, and then as much veg as you want. So that's your lunch. And then similar for dinner time, you can kind of create it the same way that you do that your lunchtime, but you're basically gonna have a protein, you're gonna have a carb and a veg. Now where we actually wanna make some variety, because I know that sounds boring on the surface, you start adding your seasonings and you start adding your sauces. So I really like G. Hughes ketchup, barbecue sauce, Thai chili sauce. I also like a ranch seasoning packet within a Greek yogurt to make some ranch dressing. And then you can also utilize options like Tabasco or Frank's Red Hot, or even some salsas that are relatively low calorie. Just make sure you're looking at the nutrition facts and seeing which options are best. And then you can pick and choose those depending on which option, and then utilize those to create the variety for your meals. But the base foundational premise of those meals stay the same. My favorite snacks that you can actually add is number 1, a protein shake. I personally use Raw Nutrition. Another one that we can utilize is Oikos Pro Greek yogurt. We can have some cottage cheese with berries, beef jerky, boiled eggs, protein bar. My personal favorites are Bear Bells and David protein bars, Quest chips, basically any of those options because they're very high in protein. It's simple, it's repeatable. You can utilize some kitchen tools as well, like your oven, your microwave, your air fryer, and other tools and items. So that way you can set it, forget it, and then you don't have to worry about prepping, cleaning, all of the things. These are really helpful, repeatable things that you can start implementing to make sure we're eating enough calories per day to fuel your body, again, get that rest at night, and be able to accomplish this goal on the back end over time. And so this is a very similar process I've utilized with my personal clients. Here are some before and afters I can show you of my clients that use this exact same process. If you have questions in regards to anything, post them down below or shoot me a message on Instagram. You'll see information about how we actually support women. And this is a program we put together to help ladies accomplish this goal. We know that the biggest thing is making sure that they have eyeballs on their actual plan. They have the accountability. They're able to actually implement these things, especially because we know that there's life challenges. And if you want to be actually surrounded with women in a similar situation, we also have a community of women over 40 years old in this actual program that is supporting you throughout this time, because we know that going about doing this on your own is very difficult. Last but not least is having a mindset shift. Yes, we know that hormones matter, stress matters, sleep matters, menopause, perimenopause, postmenopausal matters, but none of that removes your ability to lose your body fat, to gain the confidence that you want. Yeah, you've been working hard, you've been implementing the training and the exercises, you've been eating the right foods. This is not beginner stuff. You've been trying to implement the things, but the fact of the matter is that this actual structure, the guidance and the accountability has been missing. So we just need to shift the strategic mindset that you have right now to know for sure that it is possible for you. So this is the ultimate action plan we have to actually implement. We need to make sure that we're taking a look at your schedule, making sure we're implementing workouts 3 times per week, 30 minutes, making sure we're being mindful of the amount of food that we're consuming with the food journal. We've got the right accountability in place, whether it's the coaching that's actually involved with what you're doing, a community of women surrounding you, focusing on this particular task, and understanding that every single body is different. So just grabbing random stuff on Instagram and YouTube and wherever else isn't gonna be beneficial for us because we have the free information out there. Putting it all together for your body, your busy schedule, your lifestyle is not an easy thing to do. But we take a look at that again together. And so this is exactly what we do with our actual program. If you want more information on that, you can click the link below. Overall, we need to make sure that a strategy is in place and you've got the eyeballs, the accountability you need to make sure that you stick to it. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope this video was helpful. If you want to watch more videos, you can actually click my page, subscribe, like this video. It helps me out tremendously. And you can check out some of our other testimonials as well as helpful tips and videos that we've actually posted before. So if you have any questions or things that you need help with, again, shoot me a message on Instagram, post a comment down below, and we can't wait to see you in the next video.